Hey everyone, welcome to English Conversation, the podcast. I'm Anna.
And I'm Adam. Thanks for joining us today.
We're so excited to have you here. Today we're talking about something that confuses a lot of English learners, even people who've been studying for years.
That's right, we're diving into articles, a, and the. These three little words cause so much trouble.
They really do. You know, Adam, I remember when I was teaching in Spain, my students would always ask me, why do we say the sun but a star? They're both in the sky.
That's such a good question, and honestly, it shows how tricky these words can be. The rules seem simple at first, but then you start using them in real conversations, and suddenly you're not sure anymore.
Exactly. So today, we want to break it down in a way that actually makes sense. No complicated grammar terms, just practical explanations you can use right away.
Let's start with the basics. In English, we have two types of articles, indefinite and definite. Don't worry, those words sound scary, but the concept is easy.
Right. A and an are indefinite articles. We use them when we're talking about something general, something not specific.
For example, if I say, I need a pen, I'm not talking about one particular pen. Any pen will work. I just need something to write with.
Perfect example. Now, the is a definite article. We use it when we're talking about something specific, something both the speaker and listener know about.
So if I say, I need the pen, I'm talking about a specific pen. Maybe it's the pen on my desk, or the pen you borrowed from me yesterday.
See the difference? It's all about whether you're being general or specific.
Now, let's talk about when to use a versus an, because this confuses people too.
The rule here is actually pretty straightforward. We use a before words that start with a consonant sound and an before words that start with a vowel sound.
Notice we said consonant sound and vowel sound, not just consonant and vowel letters. This is important.
So important. For example, we say an hour, even though hour starts with the letter H, which is a consonant.
That's because the H is silent. The word starts with an ow sound, which is a vowel sound, so we use an.
Here's another tricky one. We say a university, even though university starts with U, which is a vowel letter.
Right, because university starts with a U sound, which is actually a consonant sound. Your mouth makes the same shape as when you say yes.
Let me give you some more examples. We say a cat, a dog, a book, a table, all consonant sounds at the beginning.
And we say an apple, an elephant, an idea, an orange, all vowel sounds at the beginning.
Practice this by listening to the first sound of the word, not just looking at the first letter. Say the word out loud and pay attention to what sound comes first.
That's great advice. Your ears are actually better teachers than your eyes for this rule.
Now, what about the? When do we use it?
We use the when we're talking about a specific thing that both people in the conversation know about. Let me give you a situation. Imagine you and I work in the same office.
Okay, we're coworkers.
Right. If I say to you, did you talk to the manager? You know exactly which manager I mean. Our manager, the one we both work with.
But if I'm talking to someone who doesn't work with us and I say, I need to talk to a manager, I'm being general. Any manager could help me.
Exactly. Context matters so much with the. It's all about shared knowledge between the speaker and the listener.
Here's another way to think about it. The first time you mention something, you usually use a or an. Then after that, you use the.
Oh, that's a really helpful tip. Can you give an example?
Sure, listen to this. Yesterday, I saw a dog in the park. The dog was playing with a ball. The ball was red and yellow.
Perfect. First mention, a dog. Second mention, the dog, because now we both know which dog you're talking about.
And same with the ball. Once I've introduced it into our conversation, it becomes specific, so we use the.
This is such a useful pattern. First mention equals a or an, later mentions equal the.
Of course, there are exceptions, but this rule works most of the time and it's a great place to start.
All right, now let's get into some specific situations where we use the. There are certain times when we almost always use it.
Yes, and learning these patterns will make your English sound much more natural. First one, we use the with superlatives.
Superlatives are words like best, biggest, most beautiful, fastest. Whenever you're saying something is number one in some way, use the.
So we say the best restaurant, the tallest building, the most interesting book.
You can't say a best restaurant. That doesn't work because you're talking about one specific restaurant that's better than all the others.
Right. Another pattern, we use the with things that are unique, things where there's only one.
Like the sun, the moon, the earth, the sky.
Exactly. There's only one sun in our solar system, so it's always the sun. We can't say a sun when we're talking about our sun.
Although, fun fact, if you're talking about other solar systems, you could say a sun because there are many suns in the universe.
Ooh, good point. But in everyday conversation, it's always the sun.
We also use the with oceans, seas, rivers, and deserts, the Pacific Ocean, the Mediterranean Sea, the Amazon River, the Sahara Desert.
But notice we don't use the with lakes. We say Lake Michigan, not the Lake Michigan.
English is weird sometimes, isn't it?
It really is. But here's the thing. You don't need to understand why every rule exists. You just need to notice the patterns and practice them.
That's such good advice. Don't stress about the logic, just learn the patterns.
Another important pattern, we use the with musical instruments when we're talking about playing them.
So we say, I play the piano, she plays the guitar, he plays the violin.
But if you're talking about a specific instrument as an object, you might use a, like, I want to buy a guitar.
Oh, that's interesting. So I play the guitar means the instrument in general, but I bought a guitar means one specific guitar.
Exactly. Context changes everything. What about countries? Do we use the with country names?
Great question. Usually, no. We say France, Japan, Brazil, Canada. No article needed.
But there are exceptions. We say the United States, the United Kingdom, the Netherlands, the Philippines.
The pattern here is that we use the when the country name includes a common noun like states, kingdom, or republic. So, the Czech Republic, the Dominican Republic.
Right, but just China, just Germany, just Mexico.
What about cities? Do we use articles with city names?
No, almost never. It's just Paris, Tokyo, New York, London.
Although we do say the Bronx and the Hague, but those are special exceptions.
True, and honestly, you'll learn those exceptions as you encounter them. Don't try to memorize every single exception right now. Let's talk about something that confuses a lot of learners. When do we use no article at all?
Oh, yes, this is important. Sometimes we don't use a, an, or the. We just use the noun by itself.
This happens a lot with plural nouns when we're speaking generally.
For example, I love dogs. Not I love the dogs, just I love dogs. You're talking about dogs in general, all dogs.
But if you're talking about specific dogs, you'd say, the books on that shelf are expensive.
See how the meaning changes? Without the, you're being general. With the, you're being specific.
We also don't use articles with most abstract nouns when we're speaking generally.
Abstract nouns are things you can't touch, like love, happiness, freedom, and knowledge.
So we say love is important, not the love is important. We say knowledge is power, not a knowledge is power.
But again, if you're being specific, you might use the, like the love between a parent and child is special.
Now you're talking about a specific type of love, so the works there.
This is why context is so important. The same noun might need an article in one sentence, but not in another.
Let's talk about meals. We don't usually use articles with meals.
Right. We say, I had breakfast, let's meet for lunch, what's for dinner?
Not I had a breakfast or the breakfast, just breakfast.
Unless you're talking about a specific meal, then you might say, the breakfast at that hotel was amazing.
Or I had a breakfast that I'll never forget.
See, once you're being specific, the rules change.
The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. You'll start to develop a feeling for what sounds right.
Let's talk about some common mistakes that English learners make with articles. If you can avoid these, you'll sound much more natural.
Good idea. One big mistake is using the with general plural nouns. For example, saying, the dogs are friendly animals.
Right, that should be dogs are friendly animals with no article, because you're talking about dogs in general, not specific dogs.
Or people say, the life is beautiful, when they should say, life is beautiful.
Another common mistake is forgetting the article when you need one, like saying I went to store instead of I went to the store.
Oh, that's a big one. In English, we almost always need an article before a singular countable noun.
Countable nouns are things you can count. 1 book, 2 books, 3 books. If it's singular and countable, it needs an article.
So you can't just say, I need pen. You have to say, I need a pen or I need the pen.
What about uncountable nouns? How do articles work with those?
Uncountable nouns are things like water, rice, information, advice, furniture. You can't count them individually.
With uncountable nouns, we don't use a or an because those articles mean one, and you can't have one water or one furniture.
Right. You'd say, I need water, not I need a water.
But you could say, I need a glass of water, or I need a bottle of water, because now you're counting the container.
Exactly. And you can use the with uncountable nouns if you're being specific, like the water in this bottle is cold.
Here's a mistake I hear a lot, using a or an with plural nouns, like I saw a dogs in the park.
Oh yes, a and an only work with singular nouns. If it's plural, you either use the or no article at all.
So it's I saw dogs in the park, or I saw the dogs in the park, depending on whether you're being general or specific.
Let's talk about jobs and professions. This is another area where people get confused.
When you're saying what someone's job is, you use a or an. I'm a teacher. She's an engineer. He's a doctor.
But if you're talking about a specific person in that job, you use the. The teacher at my school is very kind.
And if you're talking about the profession in general, no article. Teachers work hard.
Here's a tricky situation. What about when you're talking about someone who's the only one with that job?
Oh, like she's the president of the company, or he's the director of the museum.
Right. When there's only one person with that title in that context, we use the.
But if you're just describing someone's job in general, use a. She's a president of a company if you're not talking about a specific company.
Actually, that sounds a bit awkward. You'd more likely say she's a company president or she's the president of her company.
Good point. Word order and context matter so much.
Let's talk about school, college, and university. These words have special rules.
Yes, when you're talking about the purpose or activity, you don't use an article. I go to school. She's at university. He's in college.
But if you're talking about the building or a specific institution, you use the. The school is on Main Street. I visited the university yesterday.
So, my kids go to school means they're students. They're there for education.
But my kids go to the school means they're going to that specific building, maybe to pick something up or attend an event.
This is the same with hospital, church, prison, and court. He's in hospital means he's a patient. He's in the hospital means he's in that building, maybe visiting someone.
Although I should mention, American English usually uses the in these situations more than British English does.
That's true. In American English, we'd say he's in the hospital, even if he's a patient.
But in British English, they'd say he's in hospital without the.
Both are correct, just different styles.
What about with technology and media? Do we use articles?
Good question. We say, I found it on the internet. I saw it on the news. It's on the radio.
But we say, I saw it on television or on TV without the.
And we say on social media without the.
These are just patterns you learn through exposure. The more you read and listen to English, the more natural they become.
Here's another
All right, let's bring this all together with some practical tips you can use right away to improve your article usage.
First tip, read out loud. When you're reading English, say the sentences out loud and pay attention to the articles.
This helps train your ear. You'll start to develop an instinct for what sounds right.
Second tip, when you're not sure which article to use, ask yourself two questions. First, am I talking about something general or something specific?
If it's general, use a or an. If it's specific, use the.
Second question, is this the first time I'm mentioning this thing in the conversation?
If yes, probably use a or an. If you've already mentioned it, use the.
These two questions will help you make the right choice most of the time.
Third tip, learn phrases as chunks, not just individual words. Don't just memorize hospital, memorize go to the hospital or in the hospital.
Yes, learning phrases helps you remember the article that goes with them.
Like at the moment, in the morning, on the phone, by the way.
These are fixed expressions. The article is part of the phrase.
Fourth tip, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Seriously, mistakes are how you learn.
Native speakers will understand you even if you use the wrong article. Communication is more important than perfection.
And honestly, articles are one of the last things that English learners master. Even advanced speakers sometimes hesitate.
So be patient with yourself. It takes time and lots of practice.
Fifth tip, keep a notebook of phrases that confuse you. When you hear or read something and you're not sure why that article was used, write it down.
Then look for patterns. You might notice that certain types of words always use the, or certain situations never use an article.
This kind of active noticing is so powerful for learning.
Sixth tip, listen to podcasts, watch shows, and read books in English. The more input you get, the more natural articles will become.
Your brain will start to absorb the patterns without you even trying.
It's like learning music. At first, you have to think about every note, but eventually, you just play.
That's a perfect analogy. Language learning is a lot like learning an instrument.
Let's do a quick practice round. I'll say a sentence with a blank, and you listeners can think about which article should go there. Ready?
Great idea. First one, I need to buy blank new phone.
What do you think? The answer is a new phone, because it's not a specific phone, just any new phone.
Next one, blank phone I bought yesterday is already broken.
This one is the phone I bought yesterday, because now we're talking about a specific phone.
Good. Here's another. Blank, dogs are loyal animals.
No article, just dogs are loyal animals, because we're talking about dogs in general.
I saw blank dog in my yard this morning.
A dog, because it's the first mention and it's not a specific dog we both know about.
Blank dog came back again this afternoon.
The dog, because now we're talking about the same dog from the morning. It's become specific.
See how that works? First mention, a dog. Second mention, the dog.
Let's try some trickier ones. She plays blank piano beautifully.
She plays the piano beautifully because we always use the with musical instruments when talking about playing them.
Mount Everest is blank highest mountain in the world.
The highest mountain because it's a superlative.
I love blank music.
No article, just I love music because we're talking about music in general.
The music at that concert was incredible.
The music because now we're talking about specific music from a specific concert.
You're getting the hang of this.
Let's talk about what to do when you're speaking and you realize you used the wrong article.
Should you stop and correct yourself or just keep going?
It depends on the situation. If you're having a casual conversation, just keep going. The other person understood you.
But if you're in a class or practicing, it's good to correct yourself. It helps reinforce the right pattern. You could say something like, sorry, I mean the book, not a book.
That shows you're aware of the mistake and you're learning from it.
But don't obsess over every little error. That will make you afraid to speak.
Exactly. Fluency is more important than perfect grammar.
As you speak more, your accuracy will naturally improve.
Before we wrap up, let's talk about some resources you can use to keep practicing.
There are lots of great grammar websites with exercises on articles, sites like Perfect English Grammar or English Grammar Online.
You can also use apps like Duolingo or Babbel, which have sections on articles.
And of course, keep listening to podcasts like this one. The more you hear natural English, the better.
Reading is also incredibly helpful. When you read, you see articles used correctly in context over and over again.
Try reading news articles, blogs, or books at your level. Notice how articles are used.
And remember, this is a journey. You won't master articles overnight, and that's